Hi, welcome to this unboxing video for Clinic Deluxe Edition. This is a very hyped and anticipated game. We had the pleasure of playing the first edition of the game. This is the Deluxe Edition, Deluxified edition of the game, which has totally rewritten rules, additional modules, solo variant, an expert and then novice gameplay, depending on if it's your first time or your experience with the game, and so on and so forth. Many things have improved, most of all the appearance of this game. So now this new version does it justice because it's a great resource management and territory building game. So before starting, let me tell you that the designer is Alban Viard. The artist is Ian O'Toole, and you can already distinguish his real nice pattern and way of making a Clinic look on the front of a box cover. It's very, very distinctive. So the game plays from 60 to 150 minutes. It's from 14 ages and up, and the complexity is 4.3 out of 5. It's quite a complex game, but after a couple of plays everything makes sense, fits, and has a natural flow. One thing is for sure, whatever minute you invest in the game and you try to get it so that you really learn it and you're able to play it and enjoy it well, it's for a good cause, because at the end you're going to end up with a real nice game and maybe one of your favorite. When I played the game in the first edition, I really liked it, really enjoyed it, but I had one complaint. I only wish the version was a bit better. You know, the board was on thin paper, there were not the generic cubes, wooden cubes, etc. So I was thinking back then, what a wonderful game, and what pity to be, underproduced for its magnificent level, let's say. But now this is all gone because this edition is tremendous. So what are we doing in the game? In the game, we are living in a city that expands, and with it we need to invest and make a new clinic that is suitable for our patients and our people. So we have dreams, we have plans, we have investment plans, and we want to invest in making a clinic, but we part ways with our co-investors because we think we have different ideas and approaches on how the best clinic would be in the city. Therefore we embark on trying to make our own and successful clinic out of the rest. So everyone is struggling to make their own dream clinic, so it serves the people the way they think they should serve, from hiring specific doctors and specialists, from nurses, special staff that can help people waiting in the aisles and waiting to be admitted. Also, even the parking lots are really well thought in this game. Something very simple, but when you drive to hospital you need to leave your car somewhere because that's the way it is, and this is also included in this game, and it's tremendous how they have managed to capture even in this tiny aspect of let's say simulation of running a clinic. So main differences between old version and the new one is we have totally rewritten rules, expert and beginners way of playing the game, solo variant, which I heard is really nice, and the penalties have been differentiated in a bit so that it makes more sense and it's more streamlined. Still, it's a quite complex game. The rules are not that complex. There are a few things to grasp and absorb, but for sure after one play everything makes sense, and for sure at the end of one session you will know exactly what you're doing and you really want to play it again. So, as you understood, I'm giving away my opinion from the game already, but I'm really happy that this game gets this version, and for sure anyone who played the previous version will agree with me. Even though if you haven't played the previous version, this is a real good chance to start with the game. To put it under perspective, if you haven't heard anything about the designer, which he has very well designed the game, and I really give him credit for this, this would look like a Vital Lacerda game, and I'm telling this in a good sense because I really enjoy his games. He's very well, his games are really well thought. He gives a lot of depth and a lot of strategies and a lot of things that are going on in his games, and I really enjoy his game. So I'm saying this as a compliment. For sure they're completely different from any other designs of Vital Lacerda, but this could easily have been a Vital Lacerda game, and it's 2 thumbs up to the designer for designing this even way back when he started doing his first version. So this is it. I've stopped mumbling. let me show you what it's in the game. We have two buggies, one with the patients and one with the staff. You can distinguish by the logo on top of each bug. Some of the things have been moved around, so maybe some buggies are open, but let me tell you what in theory you get in the game. We have various cubes. These are the different patients, and if you can see that they are matching color with the specific doctors, so in theory their disease or service that they need match a specific doctor, so they need to get a specific doctor to treat them. So you can see we have the white cubes, which are white patients. Orange, again the color has to do with indicating some severity of their disease or the condition or whatever. Some things have moved because I took it on my backpack, so let me try to get everything out and show you what's inside the game. So we have lots of wooden custom components, like, as I mentioned, the different color of doctors for the different expertise. You can see purple, white, yellow, red. I believe that's it, if I'm missing something, but they're here. Also we have the nurses, which have the scrub color of teal. A really nice component. I would pick this color if I wanted to make some hospital stuff, and it's really good selection. Now there are additional things in the game, like for example this custom component, or maybe even some fire extinguishers, some drops of blood, as you can see, or even some cars that belong to the patients when they come to the parking lot. All these were simple wooden components of, I would say, normal to medium quality, but now they're really top-notch material. The colors, the custom shapes and everything is really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop everything out to give you an idea of how the game would look. There are a lot of punch boards here, as you can see. This all will make sense after I put them on the table and show you how you start building and expanding your clinic. Clinic is the English one, clinic I think is the French. Knowing that the game comes from I think Alban is French, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me. I kept saying it with the French pronunciation. Okay, so let me pull the main boards out of the punch boards. As you can see, good quality cardstock, nothing to do with the first edition with the thin paper. This is top-notch hard boards, linen finish with nice schemes, nice spacing, iconography and overall looks. So what's the case? This is, every player is going to have one of these. This plays up to 4 players, so one of these major boards. They start like that, having their ground floor 0 and first floor there. You have to think this game, this clinic, as a 3-dimensional, so you have the board, the lower portion, the first floor, and then you start expanding and building upwards, meaning you go to the second floor as you expand within the game. You can see number 2 here, and then you can go up to number 3 by adding another floor and obviously filling it in with modules that they have to think them as on top of each other, like floors in a building, something like that. What's important is with also the expansion, you can go up to 4th floor if you get the expansion, which is quite good as well. And let's see how this works. So all these areas here have sections for modules. Modules, meaning special, you know, offices, administrative offices, or special or surgery, or some additional examination rooms, etc., that you would normally find in a clinic. So I'm simply showing you that there are lots and lots of modules. This is one punch board, and this is another punch board with lots of things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomly just put some there, so you can see how, for example, completely randomly, a ground floor would look like. What you would also need, you'll need an entrance. If I'm not mistaken, because it's a couple of years since I last played the original version of the game, you need to have something built below, so you can build something on the same level, on the same spot, on the above floor, which makes sense. This needs to stand on brick and mortar, so you need to have something. You cannot build it, for example, here, if I'm not mistaken, because there's nothing there, but I may come back to this one. We're going to make a how to play video of the game as well in additional videos. So simply putting some modules randomly, you can have a grid of 3 by 3. They look like triangles or under perspective, because this has to do with the 3D aspect of the game. This looks like a tycoon game that you would find in typically PC games, with simulating of how you would expect one would run a clinic. So you can see that the modules on the back have different icons, so they go by type. I'm just putting random things here. Of course, there is the symbology makes sense after a while, so everything is normal and fits nicely. Again, I'm randomly putting things so that I can give you an impression of how a clinic could be filled up with various modules. Okay. You would also need entrances for your clinic, and this is important because you admit your patients via. You can have parking lots. How cool! Nice, yeah. And another thing that you can have is spaces for the cars of the patients, because as you can see, maybe you cannot see, but there are small spots here. Each space here has 4 squares around it, which would make sense if, for example, you have a parking lot. Yeah, how cool! So that you can accommodate up to 4 cars, bringing 4 patients in your clinic. Again, you'll be able to have more, and you will be able to fill all this with cars only if you had, for example, parking lots for the cars to park as you would expect in a normal situation. This would make absolute sense in a normal scenario. So anyway, I'm just putting things here so I give you perspective. The cars are very tiny, but they're really custom and good looking, so they really look like cars. And I like the fact that they are mini, because they don't take you know, your attention from the different modules and the actual parts of the clinic. Everything is as it should be visually. What is important here is you also have entrances. You see, you have these yellow arrows that go with, as you can see here, and you can have various entrances for getting into, for example, like that, getting into the ground floor of your clinic. I really like filling these things up, as you can imagine. That's why I've been spending the last couple of minutes doing so. Okay, almost complete. Something that I missed, yeah, this second floor has an additional, it's 4 by 3, it's not a 3 by 3, so it's even larger, which is cool. So you can have possibility to add more spaces. But another additional section that you can have, as you can see, is this, you cannot see it, this helipad, which is quite good. Okay, a couple of more to fit everything in. You can have various helipads and various parking lots and various parks to make your clinic more appealing and more, let's say, VP worth from your opponents. Okay, a couple more and I'm done, I think. You see there are a ton of, this is a different type of doctors that they admit patients for heart disease, for eye check, for example, for maternity, for gynecological issues, etc, etc, etc. Okay, just finishing up. Okay, now this is just a random fill of every spot, so don't take it as a rules explanation. It's going to be a separate one with all the details, but you can get the main understanding of how this would work. This in theory would be the ground, the first floor, the second floor and the third floor, and even a fourth one if you have the expansion. Okay, how cool is that? I mean, having all the patients moving in, then having different doctors handling your patients efficiently, hopefully, so you can grab a lot of VPs. Speaking of these nice cardboard denominations of 25, 1, quite good. Quality, fibers, lots of fibers there, and more 25s on the back. So these look cool as well. Nice different colors, nice different sizes. You can see one from 25 and 5 are quite different. That's good. Okay. So I think this would summarize all of the components. There are lots of bits and pieces that they're all going to make sense after we... How cool are that? How cool is this, really? And there are even more in the expansion. The expansion, I think, is modular, so it has up to 10 or something like that modules so that you can mix and match and have even more variety. There's a ton of variety even in you know, the core game, but even if you want to have more, you can have the expansion as well, extension as the French call it. Very, very nice quality. Very happy with the components, very happy with the cardboard, very happy with the colors. The iconography is great. Ian O'Toole has done a tremendous work depicting all the icons and the details. It looks like a very microscopic image, but you can see that this is actually a building, a room or whatever, which has different icons and different meaning depending on where you're standing and who you need to bring there to do what. So, amazing, really, really good looking, very, very detailed, very well thought. The game design goes without saying. I really enjoyed even from the first version. This is a tremendous, tremendous upgrade. Everything is top notch, very, very well thought and executed. This is Clinic Deluxe Edition. We're going to come back with an additional video with the game, how it plays, and my opinion on the game to summarize, but I have given this already out, so there you have it. This is a catch, a keeper in my opinion. Don't be afraid by the weight of the game. Maybe a explanatory video will help, but if you stick around despite the, let's say, higher than normal learning curve, it is very, very, very rewarding, and it makes sense because it's tremendous thematic. You feel like you're running a clinic in all aspects of what you would expect to find there, and this is really, really a great game and we enjoyed. So, Clinic Deluxe Edition.